Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Nickelodeon!
What's going on, my fellow cartoon connoisseurs and adventurers into the weird? Welcome back to the channel. When you think about Nickelodeon, you probably picture slime, talking babies, and a whole lot of wacky, kid-friendly fun, right? It's the home of childhood joy and endless laughs. But for those who grew up glued to that orange splat, we knew there was always a darker, weirder, and sometimes downright disturbing side lurking beneath the surface. Nickelodeon surprisingly wasn't afraid to push boundaries, delve into gross-out humor, psychological weirdness, and even genuine horror. Today we're counting down the top 5 most disturbing shows to ever air on Nickelodeon. These aren't just a little creepy, these are shows that generally unsettled us, broke new grounds in gross-out animation, and dove headfirst into the kind of bizarre, nihilistic concepts you wouldn't expect from a channel famous for Blue's Clues. Get ready, because the green glue hides more than just fun. Let's dive into the bizarre. Kicking off our unexpected descent into disturbing Nickelodeon, at number 5 is a show that seems to embody all things wholesome and hilarious. SpongeBob SquarePants. You might be thinking, SpongeBob? Disturbing? Is he talking about the hash-slinging slasher? And yes, partially, but over its long run, this beloved cartoon has surprisingly delivered some truly grotesque and psychologically unsettling moments that go far beyond its simple ghost stories. What makes SpongeBob surprisingly disturbing? Its occasional but impactful forays into body horror, unsettling gross-out visuals, and moments of existential weirdness. While most episodes are lighthearted, certain ones push the limit, featuring hyper details, repulsive close-ups of characters, injuries, decay, and bizarre transformations. Episodes like The Splinter, or I Was a Teenage Gary, delve into some surprisingly graphic depictions of infections and mutations for a kid's show. Rock Bottom created an entire alien-like society that was generally eerie. Later episodes like Face Freeze or Smooth Jazz at Bikini Bottom feature an extreme, almost grotesque facial distortions that are more nightmare-inducing than funny. And some like Squidward and Clarinet Land are a surreal, terrifying trip into characters' fractured psyche. SpongeBob proves that even the most innocent cartoons at times can become a vehicle for truly unsettling body horror-infused discomfort. Sliding into our number 4 spot is a show that puts the monster front and center, daring to ask what it's like to be a thing under the bed. Ah, real monsters. This classic threw us into a world where grotesque, mishap creatures live in a dump, went to monster school and learned to scare humans. What made real monsters disturbing? Its unapologetic embrace of grotesque and its focus on fear as both a tool and a way of life. The main characters, Ickis, Ablina, and Crumb, were visually unique, offering unsettling designs, completely exposed guts, removable eyeballs, and stretchy ears. The show reveled in body horror and gross-out humor as central tenet. Ablina often pulled out her guts, Crumb had to carry his eyeballs, and monsters regularly dealt with slime, garbage, and unhygienic realities of their underground existence. Beyond the visual, the show explored themes of what it truly means to be scary, the pressure to conform to monstrous expectations, and the inherent loneliness of being an outcast. It puts us in the shoes of creatures designed to instill fear, and sometimes the method they employ or the ways they were perceived, they could be generally unsettling. It was a show that embraced the creepy and squishy in a bold move for its time on Nickelodeon. Coming in at number 3 is a show that single-handedly refined gross-out and kids animation and pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on television. The Ren and Stimpy Show. This seminal Nicktoon was chaotic, surreal, and often deeply unsettling, rides into the minds of a neurotic chihuahua and his dim-witted cat companion. What made Ren and Stimpy so profoundly disturbing? Its pioneering use of extreme gross-up animation, its unhinged psychological torment, and its bizarre, uncomfortable surrealism. The creator of the show and his team revealed and depicted every pore, every hair follicle, every drop of sweat, and every piece of decaying matter in excruciating, grotesque detail, often filling the screen with repulsive close-ups. The show often delved into psychological abuse, with Ren's escalating range and cruelty towards Stimpy being a constant, uncomfortable theme. Episodes like Stimpy's Invention and Man's Best Friend, which was famously banned for its violence, showcases truly disturbing depiction of Ren's sadism and mental unraveling. Beyond the gross out, the show's world was deeply bizarre and unpredictable, frequently veering into the unsettling, non-sequitur sequences that define logic and induced a feeling of uneasy chaos. The Ren and Stimpy show wasn't just weird, it was a masterclass in disturbing its audience, forcing them to confront the ugly, messy, and sometimes terrifying aspects of existence. At number 2, we have a show that was literally designed to disturb, serving as a gateway drug to the horror for an entire generation. Are You Afraid of the Dark? This classic series invites us to gather around the campfire with the Midnight Society and listen to their terrifying tales of the supernatural. What made Are You Afraid of the Dark so genuinely disturbing? It's pure, unadulterated horror designed for kids, often featuring truly terrifying concepts and surprisingly dark endings. Unlike many other kids shows, this one didn't shy away from the real scares, psychological tension, and generally creepy villains. The show explored a wide range of horror tropes, from haunted houses to cursed objects to vengeful ghosts and demonic entities. Episodes often left characters in precarious, if not outright tragic situations, with many stories having ambiguous or outright bleak conclusions. The horror was often psychological, playing on common childhood fears like clowns, dolls, or even being trapped. Famous villains like Zeebo the Clown or the Ghastly Grinner was generally nightmare-inducing. Are You Afraid of the Dark earned its place by consistently delivering chilling narratives that were not only scary, but often left a lasting impression of dread, proving that Nickelodeon knew how to deliver scares that stuck with you long after the campfire was put out. And finally, at number 1, the show that fully embraced nihilism, grotesque body horror, and an apocalyptic version of humanity, becoming Nickelodeon's most profound, disturbing creation. Invader Zim. Jonan Vasquez's masterpiece was a dark, cynical, and relentless, bizarre sci-fi comedy that was more suited for an adult audience than the 8 years old it was made for. What makes Invader Zim the undisputed king of disturbing Nicktoons? Its relentless embrace of body horror, extreme nihilism, and psychological torture, and a pervasive sense of existential dread. The show reveled and depicted disgusting bodily functions, grotesque mutations, and the sheer apathy and ignorance of humanity. Episodes like Dark Harvest show Zim harvesting human organs in a graphically squishy detail. Rise of the Zip Boy featured a sentient, pus-filled pimple that exploded in a torrent of green goo. The visual style itself was sharp, angular, and often unsettling, with characters often looking haggard and diseased. Beyond the visual grossness, the show's humor was black and deeply cynical, featuring themes of insanity, paranoia, cosmic insignificance, and futility of life. Dib was constantly psychologically tormented, and the entire human race was depicted as ignorant, self-absorbed morons, making the show's world a truly bleak place. Invader Zim was a horrifying, hilarious, and generally disturbing ride that pushed Nickelodeon's boundaries to their absolute breaking point, proving that sometimes the most disturbing content comes in the most unexpected, brightly colored packages. So there you have it, you brave cartoon watchers, my picks for the top 5 most disturbing shows from Nickelodeon. These weren't just weird, these were generally unsettling, pushing the limits of what a kids network would dare to air. Which of these Nickelodeon shows still give you the creep? Are there other slimy, unsettling gems from the orange splat that you think should be on this list? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you survived this descent into Nick's darker side, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more terrifying television deep dives, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the strangest things lurk just beneath the surface.